All right, coming back. Frigid cleanup. It's 32 degrees. Ground is half frozen, half not. But got one of my ones in the woods, all cleaned up. Also have to go do a little bit more detailed estimate. Took some rough numbers because she wants the grass to come in better. Which we can do, but the problem is they're in the woods. So I went when it was sunny by my house, which is literally about 1.5 miles down the road, because I wanted to see during the day. I normally hit this one at the end of the day, so figured I went at 11:30. It's noon now. We spent a half hour on the cleanup. I wanted to see how much sun is getting to that yard, and of course it's cloudy back there, so not much, but I guess it could always be worse. There is actually a little bit of light coming through. Half the yard is grass mixed with moss, so you know, not the best, but whatever. At least grass is growing. The other half is not. It's just moss, and it's like rock, and you know, so part of the issue I told her was you do one of two things. You could try and remove the rock, but I thought, and I was right, I wanted to double check. I was like, I'm pretty sure some of it's more like bedrock, which you're not removing easily, at least. And the other option is to get a lot of topsoil, you know, to build that area up. And I think I'm going to introduce a third option, which I like a little better. It's that area all the way in the back, probably realistically, unless they have a lot of trees removed, it probably is not going to grow in great. So I don't want them wasting a ton of money on seeds, and, you know, if they do a program like a True Green or something like that, for the results to be meh. So what I think they should do, they have an area, a decent sized area. It's like a 30 by 35 or 30 by 30, let's just say, area of where they have a swing set, a trampoline, you know, whatever that the kids use. Kids are going to want to be back there. The grass isn't going to grow right because of the environment it's in. The grass isn't going to want to grow because it's not getting sunlight. They're not home to water it, so it's just relying on whatever water is, you know, comes from the sky, you know, whatever rain falls. So I'm going to suggest that they just get some playground mulch. Well, like, why don't we just playground mulch a big area? And, you know, if it doesn't have to be an ugly square, I could cut in like more of a pretty landscape edge. Then from there, the next 30 feet or so, that could be rock. That could be where you bring in a lot more topsoil, build that up, and you can get you know, what am I trying to say? You could build that up. So rather than your standard 2 to 3 inches, you put double that on. Seed straw, that'll grow in nice. And then the rest of the yard, the next 100 feet, it's not a big yard, the next 100 feet or so, you aerate and overseed that. And I think that's the best course of action. The house is on a slope, and there is one area to the side of the house where it looks like there's runoff, and some of this gravelly, slaty, light rock is running down. So I might talk them into getting some, you know, we don't have to go crazy with drainage right away, but you don't want that. It's a combination of, you don't want a ton of water. You want water feeding the lawn to stay green, but you don't want it washing away because it's at a crazy slope. And additionally, you don't want all that crap, for a better word, washing down onto what you're just trying to seed. So I'm thinking, some much bigger drainage stone in that area would be, even if you don't have to do the whole area, but you just have, a few feet of it, and then you cut in a little drainage swell or something like that. You don't have to go crazy with, they do have some ADS pipes, which is good. I don't know how effective they are. I don't know if they're, they might be clogged up, because it's in the middle of a woods. It's a very wooded area. It's the best way I could explain it. Think of a cabin in the mountain kind of deal. And they're, instead of on top of the mountain, they're kind of below. So they have a lot of stuff running down, and causing potential issues that way. But I'm gonna go crunch some numbers. I gave her some numbers already, but I think what we need to do, because we had talked before, and it was just one of these, like, oh, well, let's throw some seed on the lawn. Let's add some topsoil here. Let's add some topsoil there. And I gave her some rough numbers based on the square footage. But I'm like, as we dug deeper into this, I'm like, you're going to need either a lot more topsoil, or we're going to have to come up with a plan B. And I think we should have a playground area, especially if the kids are going to be back there all summer. It's going to be a high traffic area. The combination of trying to get new grass to grow in an area where where kind of the odds are stacked against it. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I think it's going to be it's going to be a failure and a big waste of money. So I think between that and I think you could try and extend the yard a little bit where some of that rocky stuff is. You could add some topsoil to that, add a few inches, because it looked like that had that had a little more ample light for the grass to grow. But again, it's still in the woods, so it's it's kind of a, you don't know what's going to happen. And then I would do that. I would aerate and overseed the area that's definitely getting light and definitely growing. And you have to take some large drainage type of stones to the side there, and then just so to help catch some of the sediment that keeps running off. But that's my preliminary plan. I got to see how many yards of everything we need, when I can get everything kind of delivered, and see where they fit on the schedule. Additionally, I'm just stopping home for lunch. I have to make another run. Another guy, great customer of mine, he sent me a text this morning. So we're doing 1.5 inch river rock. I got to get measurements, but it's going to be the whole front of the house, which is probably going to be, I got to take measurements, but that's going to be a few yards. And then, so we're replacing the mulch. He just sent me preliminary stuff, so I don't know, am I doing it on top of the mulch? Am I tearing out the mulch, removing the mulch? Are we putting down fabric? These are all questions you want to ask. But 1.5 inch river rock is what he wanted. Area in front of the house. There's a small area behind the house that's probably a half yard back there, and around the pool, which is just like, there's an above ground pool, but it's probably only goes out a foot or so. So that's not a crazy amount, but, all 1025R work coming in, which is good between these two projects. Picked up my second to last house with the snow stakes. I just have one who's actually normally a really good client. He still is no matter what, but have not heard back on lawn mowing this year, so I got to reach out to him on just property maintenance. I'll send him a text. And guy up the road, I picked up his snow stakes. He was one of my last ones too. He wanted a quote, gave him a quote. He said great. He liked the quote, but he said he was going to let me know, and did not let me know. So I need to get an answer from him. But extremely busy start to the spring already. Out working even when it's super cold. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat, crunch some numbers, and get back to Liz. All right, we're gonna take you over to another property here. Probably not gonna film on the property. I'm not really comfortable doing that yet. But more loader work. This is the one with the 1.5 inch river rock in the front garden beds, along with around the pool and a little section in the back. There's a little garden bed in the back. I estimate it's a couple of yards. I don't know how deep he wants to go, or if he needs the mulch removed, if he wants a layer of fabric, so on and so forth. I also want to check out, he has a little kind of paver entranceway, a little like walkway, but not a full walkway, just in front of his front porch, that has some pavers that are uneven, and it also needs some poly sand and stuff like that in the joints. So gonna give him a quote to fix that. Gonna give him a quote for the labor of the stones, because I think he asked if he could get them delivered, which is honestly fine. We do it either way. The other project we were just at, we're gonna handle all the material coming on site, but if the customer wants to handle it too, especially if you got sketchier driveways, I leave that between the customer and the whatever company we're getting the materials from, because a lot of these guys are hesitant to bring big trucks back there and just remove yourself from it. It saves you the headache. You don't make a crazy markup on the material anyway. All right, but let's go for a ride along here. All right, so I'm just gonna go measure. That's all we're doing. And like I said before, it's river rock, 1.5 inch, which is, it's not the biggest, but it's like that annoying weight where it's kind of too big to deal with, to handle yourself on, kind of too big to handle yourself with like wheelbarrows and hand stuff. And it's, you got to use, this is the perfect opportunity to use the 1025R. Got to get back to that one and see if they want to renew too. Sorry, as I'm driving by, I'm thinking. Yeah, but 1025R is perfect machine for this. With the loader, can move those river rounds to the desired locations and not really disturb the turf at all. Especially if there's depending on what kind of tires you have on the machine. But compared to something like a skid steer, which you're just gonna chew up the turf. So we're gonna just see how much he needs. One, to give him a hand on, you know, not everybody knows how to order this stuff. So he knows how much to order, number one. And we know, you know, it's because we know that he's getting enough. Might add in a little extra there. And then I want to check out and see, because he sent me a screenshot from his Ring camera of the section of paver patio that, not patio, but the pavers that he wants fixed. And I was going to tell him, look, if you want the whole thing redone, you probably should go the whole Mason route. They'll do a better job, more crisp than, you know, than I can do. But if it's just a few, if it's fixing them, I could fix them. I could fix them, and I could put the sand in. But, you know, if you're gonna make this a whole project, not you're gonna make it, but if it, you know, so be it, it winds up being a whole project, then, you know, I would have suggested he went the other route. But I think we're on the same page where he said not everyone is, they're not all uneven, it's just a few of them. So we'll just pop those out, add a little base in there, pop them back in, make sure they're level, get all the weeds and stuff out, and put the joint sand in, and that'll be it. You know, that's something that's easy enough to do. It's not a huge repair. It's not a huge bill. But, you know, it does take some time. It's a little finesse and stuff like that. Coming up to the property here. This driveway's one of the ones that has a culvert going underneath it, which I'm glad that he's having. Oh, it's another property I gotta reach out to. I gotta reach out to a bunch of people here. I normally do this one. Let's see if we have this one back on. Looks in good shape. A little lead, not too bad of a deal here. But there's a culvert here right where the curve is, and there's a dip in it, and I do not want to be the guy delivering thousands of pounds of stone. But anyway, let me hop out, take some measurements. All right, just got back from measuring that from that last clip. We had trying to think, a little larger measurement. So again, I got to plug them in before I got to plug them in to see how much material is needed. That area with the pavers, there are a few more uneven than I thought. Now the question is just talking to the client and seeing how perfect he wants it. If he wants it, you know, I mean, obviously everybody wants a good job, right? But if he just wants it cleaned up and looking a lot better, that's something we can handle. If there's, you know, too many that need to be fixed to absolute level perfection, you're gonna want to take all of them out and essentially start over, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna, if it's one or two that are dipped low, not a problem. You take You take those couple out, you add in a base, compact it, make sure it's good to go, and then obviously then you do the whole sand stuff after that, right? But if you have a bunch of them where it's really becoming a lot, then you're going to want to talk. You might want to take everything up and redo this. You can redo it with the same stones. You could redo it with different pavers. And where do you want to go from there? Also, you have stuff of different sizes, so you have different patterns, different with your size. Do you want everything laid where it was or not? You have a lot of now these pavers weren't laid. I'm not saying they weren't laid properly, but they just weren't laid in the traditional paver method where there's not a lot of gap. So in other words, there is a lot of gap between these. So that's a lot of sand. You're going to need a lot more sand than normal, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But just, expect that it's by having those joints larger, there's more opportunity for weeds to grow, moss to grow. Right now, there's more moss than weeds in there, but I want to see if he could really hose out the joints and the moss and stuff in between them. That would help dramatically in preparation for me completing that quote, and then just talking to them, giving it a feel. Some people want everything redone perfect, and it's not always blank check, but it's at whatever reasonable cost. And then others are on a budget where maybe they're doing a few things, and they're they're just trying to do X, Y, and Z, and they would like a budget. They would like to stay on a budget. So that's all. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. See which one he ends up going with, and how you could price these out. Sorry, I'm trying to do a million things here at once. But what I'm trying to say is, does he want, not him in particular, but using those pavers as an example, do you want perfection where the answer is you're going to have to do it again? Or when I say do it again, take them all up, put new base down, just do it right? Or do you think, overall it's not too bad, let me fix the ones that are really out of level? Now, there might be some that are, if you take a level to it, they're all going to be out of level, but to the eye, they're good enough. And I hate using that good enough thing, but the reality is good enough works for a lot of people, and good enough is good enough for everybody's wallets. And you could get return business by just working with them, and half the time they appreciate that, and they're like, hey, I don't want to drop 20 grand on a walkway, but I have plans to do X, Y, and Z that actually equal more and equal more profit for you. And at the end of the day, it's all about profit. So we'll crunch those numbers on the River Rock. I want to get in contact with him, come up with a game plan, see when he could order them, try and get him on a somewhat of a schedule. Those two projects, I don't know, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out. I got to get the yards all cleaned up first. So what I've been telling everybody is from now till mid-April, it's all about yard cleanups. Then we go a little more in detail with the projects. And projects are right now they're really popular. So there's a list, there's a line. There's always that spring rush, but this year a lot more people seem to be reaching out for not anything like crazy in terms of money, but much bigger projects. And we'll see. I got to reach out to everybody, if not today, in the early next week, about whether they want to be on the lawn maintenance schedule or not. And we'll go from there with them. But we're gonna half divide this in between lawn maintenance and projects, but projects are quickly booking up. There's also a limited window where you could do stuff like seed. You don't want to do that too far out in the season, so the seed and stuff have to come first, but you don't want to do that too early while the ground still has hard freezes. So you have a window with that, aerations that were not done in the fall that people want done now. There's a window for that, at that same kind of window. There's a method to getting everybody done. And of course, there's the weather element. Well, with spring comes a lot of rain. Not mowing in the rain, not doing big projects in the rain. So, all decisions. Update, I had somebody come by and look at the Toro. We were a couple $100 difference in price, which the guy was a good guy, so I respect his decision to pass on it. He was really interested though. I feel bad. I guess I could have came down to his number, but I was kind of firm on a number in my head. And we were so close. But he ended up living right up the road, and we're now texting back and forth about working together on projects. So, not every deal works out in terms of how you think it's going to work out, but there could be a silver lining to that too. So we'll see if anything ever comes of that. If not, I have another contact here, which is always a good thing. Yeah, but so the Toro is going to stay. But my point with the Toro staying is that's a lightweight mower. It's still it's still for sale, but as of now, it looks like it's staying. And like that property I just did the estimate for, their septic is not the best. So I need a light mower for them. So I would be hesitant to, if I had gotten rid of that Toro, I would have been hesitant to just throw the Skag on that because of the weight. So, so that's not bad that with the Toro staying. But gotta pick up a trailer, gotta get this 1025R here, and now I just gotta go crunch the numbers, get these quotes out, and looks like we're definitely having a couple quotes here. Definitely having some projects here. Go get them, everybody.